All right, Dub Nation, buckle up because the NBA offseason is officially here, and things are starting to heat up around the Golden State Warriors after a dramatic end to the NBA Finals, with the Oklahoma City Thunder pulling off a thrilling victory. In Game 7, the focus has now completely shifted toward what teams are going to do to reshape their rosters for next season. And for the Warriors, there's one name at the center of all the rumors and speculation: Jonathan Kuminga. Let's be real, Kuminga is easily the biggest domino that's set to fall for the Warriors. This summer, the guy is a restricted free agent, and the front office knows that. His future will dictate a lot of what Golden State is able to do next. Warriors general manager Mike Dunleavy recently spoke to the media ahead of the NBA draft, and of course everyone wanted to know about Kuminga. Dunleavy didn't dodge the topic either. When asked, he made it crystal clear that figuring out Kuminga's situation is a top priority for the team as they head into free agency. And honestly, that's good news for Dub Nation because the Warriors cannot afford to let this drag out deep into the summer. When you're talking about a potential sign-and trade scenario, timing is everything. The longer they wait, the fewer options they're going to have. Teams across the league are already making moves, clearing cap space, signing extensions, and getting their rosters ready for the 2,526 season. If the Warriors sit back and let this stretch into late July or even August, their list of potential trade partners could shrink dramatically. And let's not forget, the market for Kuminga isn't exactly massive to begin with. Dunleavy's comments about trades in general were also interesting. He said we'll definitely be in the mix. Now that tells me the Warriors are still very much exploring all possible trade scenarios. And while the odds still seem to lean toward Kuminga resigning, with Golden State, they're definitely keeping the door open for a deal. The reality is Golden State doesn't have a lot of flexibility in the trade market right now. Outside of something involving Kuminga, their options are pretty limited. So if there's going to be any significant roster change this offseason, it's most likely going to involve him. And speaking of big moves around the league, how about that Kevin Durant trade? In case you somehow missed it, KD is now heading to the Houston Rockets. The deal sent Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 overall pick in this year's draft, and a bunch of second-rounders to Brooklyn. This trade shifts the entire landscape of the Western Conference. Now you've got Oklahoma City looking like a powerhouse, Houston loading up with Durant, and the Warriors sitting there trying to figure out how to stay competitive. Let's not sugarcoat it, Golden State has a lot of work to do if they want to keep pace. So what's next for Kuminga? Well, let's talk about Miami first. The Heat were one of the teams reportedly in the running for Durant, and when that fell through, some insiders suggested that Kuminga could be a fallback option for them. Miami's roster definitely needs help on the wing, and Kuminga fits that mold. Barry Jackson, who covers the Heat closely, reported that while names like DeMar DeRozan and Kuminga have come up in published rumors as of Sunday afternoon, Kuminga wasn't yet a focus of Miami's trade discussions. But here's the thing about Miami: their plans can change quickly. They've been burned before in big trade talks. And with the Eastern Conference as open as it is right now, the Heat know they need to upgrade. Pat Riley's front office isn't known for sitting still for too long, and with the Durant situation now officially behind them, don't be surprised if they start looking at other ways to add talent. Kuminga could easily become a bigger target for them if other avenues close off. If a sign-and trade with Miami were to happen, the financial details get interesting. Because of the way the CBA works, the Warriors could only take back 50% of Kuminga's new salary in a trade. That means Golden State would be looking at players in the $10 to $15 million range to make the numbers work. Guys like Kyle Anderson, who was actually traded away by the Warriors in the Jimmy Butler deal, could be an option. Anderson's versatility and defensive IQ would fit nicely back in the Bay Area. There's also Haywood Highsmith, a solid three player making around $5.5 million. Pairing Highsmith with a young talent like Jaime Jaquez Jr. could make for an appealing package. From Miami's side, another name to keep in mind is Nikola Jovic. Miami reportedly didn't want to include Jovic in their Durant offer, so prying him away might be tough, but he's exactly the kind of young, versatile forward that could make sense for the Warriors. Jovic can handle the ball, stretch the floor a little bit, and bring some size to a Warriors lineup that definitely needs it. Now let's say Miami does get serious about Kuminga. What would be a realistic return for Golden State? Personally, I'd be fine with a package that includes Highsmith and Jaquez. Even a deal that lands Jovic would be exciting. But as of now, it sounds like Miami is leaning more toward being out than in when it comes to pursuing Kuminga. Of course, this is the NBA offseason and things are always fluid. One phone call can change everything. While Miami seems to be stepping back, another team is stepping forward, and that's the Chicago Bulls. I've actually had a gut feeling about Chicago for a while now. Even before there were any serious reports linking Kuminga to the Bulls, it just made sense. Chicago has shown interest in Kuminga in the past during trade discussions with the Warriors, especially when names like Alex Caruso, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic were being thrown around. Now, according to Mark Stein, the Bulls still have an ongoing interest in Kuminga. Jake Fisher from Yahoo also hinted that things would become clearer after the Durant trade was finalized. So with Durant now in Houston, it's time to look at the Bulls more closely. What could Chicago realistically offer Golden State in a Kuminga trade? Well, first off, Vucevic has been mentioned, but honestly, I'm not sure how strong Golden State's interest really is. The Warriors had a chance to trade for Vucevic at the deadline but passed. They could have dealt Gary Payton to and Kevin Looney to get that done, but chose not to. Another name floating around is Kevin Huerter, who makes about $17 million a year. While Huerter's shooting could fit, I'm not convinced he's the piece Golden State wants to bring in for Kuminga. Then there's Lonzo Ball. He makes about $10 million, but with his injury history, that's a risky bet. Ayo Dosunmu is another intriguing option. A good perimeter defender with some playmaking ability, Dosunmu could give the Warriors the kind of on-ball defense they're lacking. But let me tell you, the trade scenario I've been most into is a straight-up swap Jonathan Kuminga for Coby White. 1-for-1. Salary-wise it works, and Coby White brings exactly what the Warriors need: speed, shot creation, and some scoring punch off the dribble. White had a breakout year with the Bulls and seems like he's just scratching the surface of his potential. Adding him to the Warriors' backcourt alongside Steph Curry could open up a lot of new offensive options. Of course, there's also the possibility of expanding the trade. If the Bulls want to get more aggressive, maybe a deal that sends both Vucevic and Dosunmu to Golden State in exchange for Kuminga and Moses Moody could materialize. That would fill some frontcourt and backcourt needs for the Warriors. Though Vucevic's defensive limitations are definitely a concern, but wait, there's more. There's actually a 3-team blockbuster scenario that's been floated around, and it's pretty intriguing. In this setup, the Bulls would still land Kuminga via sign-in trade, but the Charlotte Hornets would also get involved. Golden State would send out Moses Moody along with Kuminga. Charlotte would receive Javon Carter from Chicago. And the Warriors, they'd bring in Lonzo Ball, Jalen Smith, a big man who could give them some size up front, Josh Okogie, who's a strong wing defender, plus a protected first-round pick from Portland next year. And for second-rounders, that's a lot of incoming depth for Golden State, and considering their lack of roster flexibility, a deal like that could actually make a ton of sense. Now, would all sides agree to that kind of deal? That's the big question. It all depends on how badly Chicago wants Kuminga, and how willing Golden State is to part ways with both Kuminga and Moody. The fact that Dunleavy said the Warriors want to resolve this situation sooner rather than later suggests that conversations like these are happening right now behind the scenes. For me personally, if I had to rank the possible scenarios, the clean one-for-one swap with Coby White still feels like the easiest and most logical move. Financially, it lines up. On the court, it fills needs for both sides. Golden State gets a young guard who can contribute immediately, and Chicago gets their hands on a high-upside forward they've been chasing for a couple of years. But hey, like I said, it's the NBA offseason. Nothing is ever set in stone. Conversations are ongoing, phones are ringing, and front offices are weighing their options. Whether it's a simple trade, a multi-team deal, or even the possibility of bringing Kuminga back on a new contract and revisiting trade talks later down the line, one thing's for sure: the Warriors have a big decision to make, and it's going to shape how the rest of their summer plays out. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. It appears a seismic shift could be on the horizon for the NBA, with whispers growing louder about a move that would undoubtedly send shockwaves across the league. Unconfirmed reports are circulating that DOMANTAS Sabonis, the dominant big man currently anchoring the Sacramento Kings, might be poised to sign a staggering 4-year deal with the Golden State Warriors. Such a move, if it materializes, would be nothing short of a stunning coup for the Warriors and a truly unexpected turn of events for the wider basketball landscape. Sabonis has established himself as one of the league's premier centers, a double-double machine with exceptional passing vision and a relentless motor. His departure from Sacramento would be a devastating blow to the Kings' aspiration, as he's been instrumental in their recent resurgence. The notion of Sabonis joining forces with the likes of Stephen Curry and Draymond Green immediately conjures up visions of a potentially unstoppable front court, adding a vital dimension of interior scoring, rebounding, and playmaking that the Warriors have occasionally lacked. While the financial implications of such a deal remain shrouded in speculation, the sheer possibility of this happening is enough to set the rumor mill ablaze. Fans across the United States are already buzzing with sports talk shows and social media platforms abuzz with theories and reactions to this escalating whisper. Could this really be happening? Is Sabonis truly about to shock the NBA world and become the newest cornerstone of the Golden State dynasty? The next few days are sure to be filled with anticipation as everyone waits to see if this blockbuster rumor evolves into a confirmed reality. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news, subscribe to our channel, and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.